We are live. We are live.
Hello, kings and queens. Welcome to the beautiful world of Your Queens Incorporated, the first African royalty character and costume entertainment company. You have the opportunity to meet dynamic queens and kings like Goddess Isis, Queen Cleopatra, Makeda, Queen of Sheba, Queen Nefertiti, King Tutankhamun, Queen Amina, Queen Nzinga, and Queen Nanaya Asantewa. Through the power of storytelling, song, dance, royal adornments, and more, we achieve our mission of evaluating, educating, and expressing the dynamic lineage of historic queens and kings. Let us teach you and remind you about the incredible stories of our ancestors who reigned with power, confidence, diligence, faith, and purpose to create the legacies we know and love today. Be sure to visit our website, www.yourqueens.com, to learn more about the services we offer and connect with us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, everyone. My kings and queens, prince and princess. We are live. We are live. We are live for our third Behind the Mic series brought to you by Your Queens. And we have a special guest for you tonight. If you guys are watching, well, thank you for being. Definitely please share this out. Share this out right now on your page to your family and friends, on your Facebook. Share it out on YouTube. If you just happen to see it pop up on your timeline, share it out. You are here for a special treat. And we are an amazing company. As you saw in the introduction, Your Queens Incorporated, we're the first company to teach about African royalty through storytelling, song, and dance. What that means, literally, we dress up like real ancient kings and queens, like Queen Amina, Goddess Isis, King Tut, and we are here for you to educate us through storytelling, song, and dance. Our mission is to evaluate, educate, and express our dynamic lineage, knowing where you come from, and we need this more now than ever. So we thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm clapping. Thank you for joining us. Without further ado, I want to introduce my amazing panel. So they're just going to give you a little bit about their name, who they are, how they are connected with Your Queens, and just every little thing that they want to share. And just let me know how your day was today. So I'm going to start with my beautiful queen, McQuavon Mills. Welcome to New York. Ooh.
Yes. Welcome to the Boogie Down Bronx. But
Hey.
So, hello everyone. Like Miss Ecky said, my name is McQuavon Mills. I go by Mickey. I have known Miss Ecky since I was in high school. She was my dance teacher, and I've been connected with her ever since. As far as Your Queen goes, I think it's very impactful, and it is a passion of mine so that the younger generation can know we came from more than just slavery. And not even just that, it is always awesome to see how they make the connection on their own, as to say, wow, you mean to tell me that such and such was a king and a queen, and that means my lineage is almost the same? Yes, it is.
Yes, it
And
is.
just a little backstory, I'm a teacher and I'm going into my fifth year, so clearly I'm very excited. And then just learning about history and actually being a part of it and allowing children and adults alike to see that is so impactful. So that's my little spiel.
Yeah, sidebar, you glowing today, Mickey. You glowing because
Oh,
you're in New York City with family, and we get to see you soon. I love it. Thank
yes, I
you.
love being here
Peace.
every day.
Yes,
Every
Angie is with us. Hi,
Hi,
Royal Family.
Angie.
We love you, Angie. That's one of our queen, our social media manager, and Queen Cleopatra. Thank you for being here. Next up, want to give a shout out. Well, not shout out. You're right here to the beautiful Wendy, one of our new queens. It's been a year now. It's actually a
Hey,
year this month, honey. You've been with us for
yeah,
a year. Go,
it's
girl.
my birthday.
Let's give her. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my love.
My name is Wendy, and I'm an actress, I'm a dancer, I'm a DJ. I do a lot of stuff. I came to Your Queens a year ago, and I met Eki during a teaching artist workshop, and she was doing dance. And I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen her dance before, but she's got moves, and I loved it. And then I found out about Your Queens just by doing research about her, and I was like, wow, I really like this program that you're doing. Like, how can I be a part? So I really love the message. I love watching the kids respond when the queens come in, the auditorium or wherever they're having whenever they're having the event. I love it. I love the message, and you know, to show them the truth. Like, hey, our story didn't start with slavery. It started way before that. So I love it.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank
Angie said,
you.
congratulations. I love it,
Aww.
light. And today we do have, hey, Queen Bola, Peace Queen. How was your day, Miss Disu? Congrats, Wendy.
Yay,
And
thank
all the
you.
love on this 1 year anniversary. We're going to claim it today.
Yes,
Today,
that's
the
it.
23rd. So we have a special guest. I think Floyd, I think we met this year, right? During COVID or before COVID? During
Uh, during, definitely
Definitely during,
during.
right? And we've had a million and one conversation, deep conversation from personal life and just talking about entrepreneurship, the following your dreams, the faith of it, and even just talking business together. So I want to read his bio real quick, and then you can share with our audience any more that you would love to share. So we have Floyd Phillips II, founder of the Floyd Phillips Company, a diversified media and entertainment conglomerate headquarters at the Floyd Phillips Studio in Los Angeles, California. Let's give it up for King Floyd Phillip. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Would you like to share anything with our audience? You can tell them how we got connected.
Well, sure. I'd say maybe a month or so ago, one of the hosts of one of our new shows had referred me to you. I guess
Longer
she's
than
a
a month.
sorority sister. Couple months, 2, 3 months, 3, 4 months.
Back
Back
in
in
the
the
day.
day. Back in the day. She had referred me to Eki in terms of the company that you have, Your Queens. One of our live entertainment companies provides cartoon characters and entertainment services nationwide for kids events. A lot of princesses, cartoon characters, things like that. And so she was like, "Hey, you should talk to one of my sorority sister about her company. She also does princesses as well." And so as I found you on Instagram and seeing what you offer, I thought it was really great because we don't get an opportunity to provide many princesses of color at all, to be honest with you. So it was good connection, and I'm very happy that we were able to not only talk about that, but also transition into a couple projects that we're working on now currently. So I'm excited about it.
Thank you for being here. And shout
Thanks for
out
having
to
me.
my sorority, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I just love all the connection. It's such a small, beautiful world. So we're happy to have you here with us. And today, our topic, our third topic, it's called the King and Queen Dialogue. So that means because we have the company Euro Queens, yes, we know that we come from royalty. Yes, we know we have to know where we come from and yet where we're going. That part is so important. But I wanted us to kind of just dig a little deeper about what does it mean to be a king and queen. And I remember, full transparency, when I started Euro Queens, it came with a lot. It came with so much joy, so much support, and then it came with all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Where it was just kind of like, who you think you are? Why are you calling yourself a queen? Da, 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 da. I'm tired of hearing that word queen, whatever. I normally call, you guys know, probably Dale, I call each other king and queen. And it's not so much, yes, because royalty is in us all. However, to me, also being a queen, it means you're powerful. It means you're strong. It means you're confident. It means that you can overcome so many different things. And I want to speak to our panelists. And we can start with Floyd if you want to jump right in. Our first question for the panel on today is, what does the title king, and you can also share queen, mean to you?
I think that they're both very similar in their meaning. When I think of king or queen, I think of leadership. I think of someone that has an eye for understanding where we're going and being able to translate that into a leadership plan to get there. So in terms of being a king or queen, the first word that comes to my mind is leadership.
Leadership. I love that. For our audience viewing, definitely feel free to chime in. What does being a king or queen mean to you? And especially during these times, if you're able to come through this times as we're going through, you are a king, you are a queen. What do you say, Wendy? What does being a king or queen mean to you?
Well, for me, I think it's a form of respect. I'm from the South. I'm from Alabama. So, we are brought up to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am,
Right.
yes, sir, no, sir. But if I, here in New York, when I came here, I would say yes, ma'am to somebody, and they almost like back in. They're like, I'm too young. I'm like, no, it's not. I think it's not that I think that you're old. It's just I'm respecting you. I'm saying ma'am out of respect. Someone would be like a year older than me, and I would still say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. But to say, but then that also has a negative connotation to it as well. Whereas people were like, well, they would say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am to massa or whatever like that. But I was never raised to see it that way. I always just thought you just respect everybody by saying ma'am and sir at the end of that. So I guess queen and king is kind of the same, where it's like there's a positive and a negative connotation to it, where it's like, oh, you have to earn that. Or you can just be like, well, no, out of respect, I'm calling you queen. I'm calling you king. Like, I think, Eki, you might have been the first person to ever call me queen. I was just like, oh, okay. It's just
like, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's like, yeah, I'm a queen. But it's just, it's a form of respect. And it's kind of like, and I don't know if everyone sees it the same way, of a reminder of, hey, like, you're not just an ordinary, like, I see you, you are respected. I respect what you're doing. I respect who you are. And, it's just a formal way of respect. Oh, my cousin's here. Carry on.
Hello. Blessings. Thank you for being here. She said beautiful.
Yes. She has an amazing story. Check her story out. But yes, I love, I think that's a form of respect in my eyes. I really do think it's a general respect thing. But then people also feel, I've had that as well, where people were like, oh, well, you have to earn the term king or queen. You have to do something like, only people who should be named king or queens are the people who paved the way for us, which I believe, yes, they should
100%.
also
100%.
have that as well. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying king or queen to just a regular person on the street, because I mean, we're all valued. Like, I personally believe that God's hand has handcrafted each and every body before it touched this earth. I mean, we're handcrafted. That's pretty big. I don't think that that's some small thing to look at. So yeah, I do feel like it's a respect.
Shout out to, thank you for sharing, to Queen Horn. She dropped her website. Can you share with us her story?
Yes, absolutely. So my cousin. So Miss Carriel, she was a police officer on the police force, and please correct me if I'm butchering your story at all. She saved this man's life. It was pretty much what happened this year with George Floyd, where no one stepped in and saved his life. My cousin actually stepped in and saved this man's life. He was getting arrested, and she saw that there was some type of things going on that wasn't right. I think they eventually made their way out of the guy's house, and the officer began to put him in a chokehold, and my cousin just jumped in and saved his life. And long story short, they changed the story around on her, and pretty much she wasn't able to, they used it against her. And so through that, she got off the police force, where they took away her pension and everything. She wasn't a rookie or anything. She had years in the game. And pretty much to this day, she's fighting for justice. And this guy is still living. And it's kind of like she got abused for doing something right. So she is a queen for sure. She's earned the term. She can tell it a lot better than I can. Check her story out if you look on the website there, or if you go on to type her name in YouTube. There's videos that pop up, and you can see a better description of the story.
Wow. Yeah, we stand with you. So if you are, her website is on, if you're on YouTube and can't see it, it is CARIOLHORNE.com. Yes. So I want to continue.
Proud of her.
Say it again.
Yeah, I'm proud of her. Very
yes.
proud.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Miss Madison is back with us. We appreciate you being part of our audience. I want to get you up here soon. Miss Tonya Madison. Pride. What does she think of the title King and Queen? Because I want to later on ask you what makes you a queen or king. She says pride, character. I love it. And like Wendy said, it could mean different for anyone. I want to say, Mickey, what does the title king or queen mean to you? It's okay.
Sorry, I thought it just disappeared, and clearly my facial expressions are not making it better because we are live. Okay, so as I sat here and I listened to what everyone was saying, I would definitely say being a king or a queen is a lifestyle. It's how you carry yourself and what you value for yourself and how you project it onto the world. And definitely, I would say it's more so not for anyone else. It's just a way for you to feel good about yourself. For some people, they call themselves a king or a queen because they want to feel better about themselves. And after a while, when you start to internalize those thoughts, you project it further and it becomes more evidence, per se. For some people, you never know their internal struggles and how just by them saying these words in the mirror and these affirmations, how it can make their day feel better and how it can make them feel like, yes, I matter. Yes, I'm important. Yes, I'm a king or a queen. Because you know what? Today's going to be a good day. Thank you. Miss Eki, you're on mute.
All right, yes, I know. I was talking like, yes. So yes, girl. Very, very well said. Like every day I wake up and it's so important to have that affirmation. Dr. Disu Bola Diso said, "Oh yes, it's a lifestyle." Totally agree! Exclamation! Exclamation!
I
It's a
got
lifestyle.
got little princess
You're
here with me.
welcome, Queen
She wants to
Carol.
say hello.
Hello. We have a guest. Yes, our young princesses. If you have your children with you, have them come close so they can hear this conversation as well. Absolutely. Yeah, we know it as a title, yeah, king and queen, but I also even see it as an affirmation, like Mickey was sharing. It's a composition of what you make those titles to mean, what you make those words to mean. So, second question for my amazing panelists on this Monday evening. For those of you guys just joining in, we are your queens. We are live on shout out to the Ranters Union, to iRant Network for having us. We greatly appreciate this platform. We are your queens. We teach about African royalty through storytelling, song, and dance. We've been live starting last week, all the way we're going till December 16th, talking about different topics of royalty, love, education, power. And we're also going to break down the 7 Kwanzaa principles for you. We always get a lot of new people who want to learn about Kwanzaa and jump on right here every Monday and Wednesday till December 16th. You don't want to miss it. It's just a great, our goal is, like Wendy shared earlier, did you share? Oh, I think you shared it backstage, but it's to provide healing, providing healing, especially during these times. So thank you for joining in. Our second question for our panel, but also for our audience, definitely comment in. What makes you a king or a queen? What makes you a king or a queen? I see King Floyd smiling, so I'm going to turn it over to you. Go for it.
Well, I don't. I'll say this. One thing that I aspire to do is embody that. So it's important for me to carry myself in a way where, like the other panelists mentioned, in terms of being respected, in terms of being a leader, in terms of finding ways to encourage people and empower them, is something that's important to me. So when I think of king and queen, I just think of really a humble servant of the people. I feel like it's my responsibility to pour into others. And I think that when I think of the word king, that's what a king or a queen's responsibility is to pour into others and empower others and bring others up to their level and push them forward and encourage them and inspire them to do things that maybe they didn't believe that they could do. And that's why I look at people that are in leadership positions is their responsibility to help others. That's how you measure that leader or that king or that queen is the people around them. Are they succeeding? Are they happy? Are they full? And so those are things that are important to me when I think of king and queen. And when I look at myself in the mirror introspectively, I say, am I helping people? And if I am, and if I'm bringing value, well, then I possibly deserve that title. I hope that I do, and I work every day for that. So, those are things that I think are important. And if we keep our eye on embodying that within us, then that's what makes us all kings and queens, and then that's what creates the community around us. And I think that as many of us start to learn that and start to empower others and inspire others and encourage them and bring them along, that's what's really going to help us in the long run. And because we are all, as you mentioned earlier, we're all kings and queens. So but we do also have that responsibility, and if we live up to that responsibility, and that builds strong community, and I think that that's what helps us all in the long run.
You said it. Yeah, I just needed to
You
take a
definitely
moment.
did.
Even just the takeaways I'm getting from you is, what are you? Humble servant. And sometimes people don't like that word humble because you don't want to be humble, but it's all how that is. It can be humble with strength, humble with power, humble with assertiveness, humble with leadership. Because sometimes they say heavy is
Humble.
he or she that wears the crown. What were you gonna say, Mickey?
I was gonna
Yeah.
say humble doesn't mean you have to be arrogant, and definitely Floyd, Mr. Phillips, as you were speaking, I was like, I love his use of the word responsibility, because when you are responsible, you're taking ownership for not only what you project in the world, but for what you want in your own life. So if you choose to not do X, Y, and Z, then you still have to remember it was your responsibility. It was your choice as to why you're now down this path. Now, of course, it's not always going to be that easy, but when it does happen,
Speak the truth.
it just it becomes more apparent. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
No, I totally get it. Totally get it. Susana Mercedes Asamoah, that's my queen. Go, mama. Go, go, mama. Leadership, commitment to my people, my village. Yes, queen. 100%. Miss Madison, my forefathers left a legacy, and it's my responsibility to keep that legacy going. It's work, but when you surround yourself with the right people, anything is possible. Thank you, Miss Madison. Yes. So I want to have you continue, Mickey. So let's share with our audience what makes you a queen.
Okay. If I had to say what makes me a queen, it's not only my commitment to my goddaughter, to my family, but it's also my commitment to myself. I used to be very, very like sad a lot. I'll just keep it really general. And after a while, and depending on the people I had around me, I had to choose and I had to say, either I'm going to continue to be in this spiral or I'm going to evolve, I'm going to grow, I'm going to progress. And when I started to progress and really consider and remember who I was, my self worth, I started to really embody, okay, I am a queen. And even when my head is bowed, and maybe there might be tears in my eyes, gotta fix my crown, have somebody adjust it, and keep on pushing, keep on being great. So I think if I had to summarize it,
Yes,
for
yes.
me, being a queen is not only what I envision for myself, whether it's my vision board, my dreams, but it's also the people that I surround myself with. And that helps me be aligned with who I am, who I'm going to be, who I'm going to continue to be, and just how I progress and grow through this life. Because I technically and realistically only have one before it's over. So I want to be able to say at the end of the day, I used all of the talents that God has given me before it is my time to pass away, per se. Well,
Yeah.
not per se. Yeah, I should.
I see you, queen. I felt you on that. 100%.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Wendy. Yes, queen. It's your turn.
Oh man, I Floyd killed it.
You sure did. You sure did.
think I don't really have anything else to say after that. But yeah, I go along with that as a servant, knowing that for me personally, knowing that I'm serving the people around me, the people in my life. Um, One thing I feel like that makes me a queen, and I said it before, like who I'm following, I follow Christ, and I feel like because I follow him, I am royalty. Just on that alone, um, like that adds value and worth to my life. I do
Yes.
have to
Yes,
renew my
yes.
mind and remind myself because, like Mickey was saying, like I have those days where I'm just like, yo, man, ain't nobody called my phone. Don't nobody want me to work for, you start going down those little lists and you're like, do like, but then I have to remind myself like, no, I have worth, I have value, I have something great to bring to the table, I have something that's worth serving to other people, even if it's just something simple like there is value in what I have. Just because I don't have what the world thinks that I should have doesn't make me less of a queen or not a queen at all. And I think sometimes it deals with what the description of a king or queen could be to the mass general, or what's being proclaimed through those who have voices. Like, a lot of people may think a queen is only supposed to look like this, or a queen or a king should only have this amount of money in the bank, or they have servants, they aren't servants themselves. Whereas I don't really necessarily agree with that. I think that like what Floyd was saying, like you can be a king or a queen and still choose to serve. And I think that's what makes the best kings and queens. If even if you look at the leaders like Barack Obama, you know, I feel
Yes.
like he kind of like you
Yes.
saw that he had like a compassion, he had like a willingness to serve. And I believe like kings and queens, they have that same mindset. It's not just a one me, myself, and I mentality. It's not a selfish mentality. It's more of a what can I do to help serve others. So I think that's what makes me a king or queen.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing the willingness to serve. And even like when you bring up our past president, Barack Obama, he just had that aura with him. You can definitely say, yes, that's a king. But it's so interesting how we think about the words king and queen. And granted, hi sister, one of my best friends is on here. Elle, I love you. Thank you for being here. What let us know what makes you a queen. She says, I love your humbleness. Blessings. Being responsible for using my talents to become a better person for myself and others, sharing what I have with others. Shout out to my mom. She's dope. She's a retired teacher. She already knows. She's everything. Yeah, y'all see me blushing out for a second. Yeah, even so, I had a friend one time say to me, Eki, I am not a king. He goes, and I had to respect it. He's, I don't know why you keep calling me a king. He goes, I'm a knight. So facts. And sometimes you see yourself as, I guess everyone can't see themselves as kings and queen, and that's fine because you do need your knights, right? You need your
Hmm.
princesses, you need all those people in your court. So it's about
Hmm.
knowing that. So I was like, all right, knight, I respect that. So that's another part. So shout out to the knights out there because we all
Okay.
need. You want to say something, Mickey?
Yeah, I don't know why when you said that, maybe also he called himself a knight instead of just a king because it's a work in progress. Or think about it in terms of level. That's just the thing that came to my mind,
I
honestly.
love
He's
it.
a knight. He's working toward becoming that king that he probably sees himself. And although other people may see it until he sees it for himself, he's like, okay, I'm at this level right now, and then I can progress and grow on. Go
And we
on.
have to, well said, and we have to also, when I say you can't, I may be jacking up the quote, but y'all know what I tell you. Can't take to a horse to a water, make him drink.
You can
I
bring
know.
them water, but you can't make them drink.
Right? So, and we can plug the seed, but not forcing anyone. And I had to respect him saying that and where he is in his journey. You know what I mean? But like you said very well, he it's all I see all of us as kings and queens, and we all laid the foundation of what that means to us. It's not so much, yes, I truly believe our DNA, we come from royalty 100%. And for me, being a queen, I'm very like stubborn in a good way. I've been following my dreams since I was 9 years old, nonstop. Asked my mom from dancing to designing to jewelry making. Doing tons and tons of events. Shout out to my father, Benson Asamoto. He owned an African shop in Bed-Stuy for over 10 years where he sold African clothes, jewelry. It was called Shaker Ray Center. So dope. And then to see us doing this now, everything makes sense. But I also grew up with a lot of self-esteem issues. And I don't take any of that for granted. And even sometimes as I get older, I may have to call up Mickey or sometimes call up May. I've recently had to call up Floyd before and talk about certain things. And because I trust and I know who my village is and who's going to lift me up. And during those times that it may get a little thing. So for me, being a queen is just seeing my journey, seeing what I have overcome, my obstacles that keep pushing. I've seen also my great accomplishments. I give thanks for that. And seeing myself a queen because I trust God. I literally trust him with everything. And I don't like, I just say take things one day at a time. I'm always say take things one moment at a time and embracing that. And so being a queen means to me now, as I built my self-esteem up, that is one of the core things that I teach as a dance teacher and that I show in part of your queens is self-esteem building. So sometimes you have to go through that, heal from it, and now you pour it into the next generation or even just our peers. So that is how I see myself as a queen. So if anybody has in the comments, anybody else wants to share what makes you a queen, definitely know that you are a queen, you are a king. Queen L, my sister said, Queen, walk in confidence, in pride. in live, in growth. We are all beings of purpose, blended. Yes, this is all poetic. Beings of purpose, blended with creativity and personality. I believe this distinguish what type of king and queen one's become. Very well said. Thank you for chiming in. Love and light to you. Yes. One last story, and then I want to jump to the next question. It made me think of, I think, when Wendy was talking. So I grew up in Nigeria, right? So we would always call each other, you were saying sir, ma'am, we would call each other auntie or uncle. Even if he was just like 2 years older, 2 years older, we would call each other auntie or uncle. So when I came to New York in the 90s and I was calling like people auntie and uncle, they were looking at me like, why are you? No. But it was just that respect level. You know what I mean? So that was another. So we're saying auntie, uncle. Now it's king or queen. But I also had one time when I lived in Bed-Stuy, true story, and I pray for her. I used to live next door to a crack house. All right. And there was this young lady there. I hope Shannon's gonna jump on later on. There was an older lady, and I remember we were rehearsing for Afro Punk Festival in 2015, and we were outside and we were going over. We have a song and dance. I am a queen. You are a queen. A queen wears a crown. Shoulders down, heads up, and turn around. So we were singing it, and she was. And turn around. There's more to the lyrics if y'all will sing it later. So we were doing that. She watched us rehearse and everything. So we went to the festival, came back, and then she's like, Eki, I know the dance. And she's showing me this queen dance. And I'm like, oh my God. She's paying attention and she's doing it. So then I go, yes, queen. And she goes, I ain't no effing queen. I'm a crackhead. Here's the thing. I know. Here's the thing. Something was planted in her. She knew who she was. But a takeaway is something was planted in her no matter what. So I share that story to say words are powerful, right? Words are very, very powerful. And when you always keep your mind clear and keep your mind positive and affirm yourself that everybody that's on here, that no matter what, no matter even during these times of what we're going through, you can be anything you put your mind to. Don't give up. Take it one moment at a time. Trust God. Have the right people around you. And you got this, queen. You got this, king. Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
Osa Yame Bartholomew. That's my sister, my bestie, my right hand, left hand. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. What makes you a queen? What makes you a queen? So my next question is, oh, my computer is about to die. My next question is, what can you share a time when you truly felt royal, confidence, powerful? Share a time where you felt royal, confidence, powerful. King Floyd is on you.
Before I get into that, I did want to make mention. I'm pretty familiar with Carrio's story that's come out, mainly just over the past few months, and I feel like a lot of times when we're thinking about kings or queens, we can be that even when we're not being given credit for that. In particular, in her story, she stepped forward when she didn't have to, and took on responsibilities that or actually, I shouldn't even say responsibility. She took the brunt of a system that wasn't designed for people to speak out against it. And as a result, she lost a lot for that. And I think it's unfortunate because the very system that she was protecting was the one that she had to take the hit for. And I just think that's so, just hearing about that story was devastating to me because the strength behind stepping up and saying something when you don't have to, when it's not even popular to, I think that's what makes you a queen, to be honest with you. Saying things that are uncomfortable, saying the right things, not just telling people what they want to hear. and being willing to be accountable and responsible for taking that chance. I just think that it was very strong and very powerful. And no matter what happens, to her within her job or financially, I do want her to know that people seen that. People seen that strength. I took a lot away from that story to say I have to do the right thing and be a king, even when it's unpopular, even when I lose. But I think that ultimately, when we talk about leadership, it's those losses that people take where the next generation or those younger are coming up, and we're seeing that. And what I saw when I say it was I have to do the same thing, and I have to be willing to bite the bullet if it comes to that as well, for what's right. So she deserves to be commended for the strength that she showed, and just the willingness to, unfortunately, lose a lot, undeservedly, but lose a lot, for protecting someone who, fortunately for us, fortunately for our community, that man lives today, because she stepped in. And I did want to make mention of that. It's kind of amazing that she's even watching this right now.
It truly is.
It
Wow.
really, when I heard the name Carrio, I'm like, I'm very familiar. I looked into that, and visited her website, and some time ago, especially when things were going on in Buffalo. I guess that's where she was working at. But it's tough. It's tough. But we have to step up to the plate, and being kings and queens. I use the word responsibility, because we really don't have any choice,
I love that
but to
word.
do that. It's just us here. But one thing I'll say is that when we do step up to the plate, look what happened on November 3rd. Okay, we changed things. We showed out, and we took control. We showed our power. And when you use the word king and queen, that's really what you're doing, is transferring power, right? You're encouraging me and telling me who I am. So then, if I get it, once I think about it, I say, you know what? I am a king. The first thing that you want to do is share that power with somebody else,
Okay,
right?
Pastor Phillips. Yes. Let's
So
keep going.
in a world where everyone's taking, I think we win when we look to give first. And so in terms of a story of mine in particular, it's hard to pinpoint one, because I wake up every day saying, how can I give? How can I, whose life can I bring value to? And I think that when I've programmed myself to think that way about any and everything that I do. So even in our projects where we work together and we talk, the first thing we're talking about is how we can help someone, how we can bring value to the next generation, or teach kids about where they come from. Why are we doing that? Well, because as they grow, they'll think differently if they know differently. If we teach them uh, what life should be like and how they should view themselves, all of a sudden they'll be like, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to read, right? Because the more educated I am, the more I can better myself. And when we encourage that and lead the way, then I think that that's where the win is, and that's where the empowerment is. But that seed comes from you just saying, hi, queen, how you doing? You're a queen? Yes. You're beautiful. Yes, you are. You are a queen. And after a while, you start to believe it. And then it's like, you know what? I personify that. Now, what else can I do that's queenly or kingly? So I think that in terms of our responsibility to them and encouraging them, is we have to wake up every day saying, how can I bring value to someone else? And if we do that, then I think that that's what makes us a king, and that's what makes us queens as well.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Trusting each other, transferring, and also when we work together, we're on a mission. It's not just one, two, three. We have a plan. We have a goal, and we're setting it for the next generation. I want to read some comments and then introduce our queen who is joining us, Queen Shannon Nia Alomar. But we have Susanna Asemota, my queen, says she is a queen. Yes. To our Queen Carol, we all have a responsibility to look out for each other. It's not a loss when you can stand on truth. I read a quote earlier to say today about truth. It's not a loss when you stand on truth. We have to look out for our young kings who are killing each other. Yeah, this conversation is definitely needed. And again, we thank you, Ms. Horn, for being here. Queen Shannon Leah Allenwar, how was your day, boo? We're going to have you jump right in, introduce yourself. What does being a king or queen mean to you? And how do you see what makes you a queen?
So, hi everyone. I am Shannon Leah Allenwar, as mentioned, and in Your Queens, I embody the beautiful Queen Nefertiti. I'm also our web mistress, and I am an advisor on the board of directors. And I am so glad to be joining you all for this conversation. I was definitely listening in on my drive home so I could jump on and be a part of the conversation. But one thing that I was thinking about while I was listening to everyone speak is something that Ms. Eki mentioned is the power of words. And we were also just listening to the explanation of power and just how power is a part of being a queen or a king. And I was thinking in terms of the meaning of words in our community. I don't think it's just in our community. I think it's just something like a phrase or a nickname that's given to little girls a lot. They're called princess. And for me, my nickname in my family to this day is still princess. So a lot of my family members still call me that. But I was thinking to myself just during this conversation, when do we upgrade to a queen? Even when we're little girls, even when people are calling us princesses, when do we come out of the princess mentality and upgrade into the queen mentality? I don't think it's a conversation that is had sometime. It's just something that maybe you might hear someone say, like Wendy was saying that she thinks the first time she heard someone say that was when Ms. Eki said, "Hey, queen." But I might say, or I can assume this, and Wendy, you could definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were younger, people probably called you princess, or they say you look like a princess or something like that. Or maybe not. That may not be your reality or your truth, but I was thinking, you know, the moment for me when I felt like I elevated from a princess to a queen is when I recognized my power, like we were mentioning, and also Floyd was talking about leadership. For him, the meaning of a queen or a king is leadership. And when I learned that I had influence on others, and sometimes people don't recognize their influence, and sometimes that may not always come off as positive, but I think when you're a queen or a king, you have this influence where you can change the mindsets of people. You can help encourage people, push them, empower them. That is a superpower to be able to do that. So I look at kings and queens as superheroes, like real life superheroes in a sense, because that is an awesome responsibility to be able to have influence over someone else. So that's what I look at kings and queens as. And for myself, like I said, I just think that whenever I have those little moments throughout my day, or if someone comes to me and tells me that I encouraged them on something or I inspired them, I'm just like, wow, this is my queen moment. Like, these are my affirming queen moments. I even had someone the other day who was a mentee of mine when I was in college, McQuavon knows her, who wrote me to just tell me that I've always been an inspiration to her, because I was talking about how in my school, we're going to be virtual for the rest of the year. And I said, even though I'm not going to be going in person to meet my students for the first time, I'm still happy that I made this major leap in the middle of a pandemic to make a whole life change. And that is also a queen moment. And she told me that I've always inspired her. And I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. So that influence, this was years ago that I met her, that I even was around her in person. And although we follow each other on social media, you know, on social media, you don't always see what everyone is doing. You see what they share. But even for her to come to me and share that message, that was a queen moment for me. And I recognized her queen moment, and even being able to tell someone that, being able to express that to someone else, telling them how they've impacted your life. So that's how I view queen and kings. And that's how I recognize that I was really coming into my queenhood, because I have people who affirm that for me daily. So I think when you are in that position, you are planting into others, but you also see the fruits of everything that you are planting, even when you're not seeing it. So that's what being a king and queen is to me.
You better, Queen Shannon. You better. I always say, like, I love showing off Shannon because she's amazing, powerful, beautiful. Um, so for you guys who've been tuning in since day one and just welcome joining in now, Shannon is a first year teacher, but you will think that she's been teaching for many, many years. So I'm gonna affirm right here live what God has for you, honey. Your path, your journey. Woo! Get ready, get ready, get ready. Yes, yes.
Receive it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Shahira, am I saying your name right? Ari Johnson. Hello, queens. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Let us know what makes you a queen. What makes you a king? We'll continue the conversation. You guys just jump right in with us. Keep sharing. Yeah, this conversation is so needed because it continues to keep us motivated and keep us to do the work that we do. And it takes a village. So we thank you for tuning in. Um, Something you said, superhero. You see, Kings and absolutely. And I even think when I think of as soon as you said that superhero, I'm shouting out my sister Osayame Bartholomew, a wife, mother of three, sister. She is like magic to me. I'm always amazed at how she's doing. Shout out to my sister Osa. So definitely think about, for our audience and even for our panel, think about the superheroes in your life, and you as well are superheroes as well. Oh, I love these conversations because it goes by. We're already in on 50 minutes of this awesome dialogue. It feels so cool and relaxed. Y'all better get ahead. Thank y'all again for tuning in. For those of you guys that just jumped in, we are your queens. We teach about African royalty through storytelling, song, and dance. Our mission is to evaluate, educate, and express the dynamic lineage of real kings and queens through storytelling, song, and dance. This is called Behind the Mic series that we're doing. We started last week, and we're sharing just a panel discussion about love, about royalty, about education. And we're also going to be breaking down the 7 Kwanzaa principle. I'm going to tell you this. I'm no expert. I just follow God's path, and he says, do this. And I go, okay, he gives me the right people. Sure. I bring people around me who are like me and greater that we can share. So again, shout out to my brother Logic, who is hosting us right now on the iRant Network. And for on iRant Network, shout out to the Ranters Union. We appreciate you for having us on this platform. So I want to continue with our final question. And our final question for our panel is, can you share a time when you truly felt royal, confident, powerful? Can we start with Queen Wendy?
Oh dear. I think those instances are always in retrospect. Um, wow, that is a loaded question. How a time where I felt royal. I've done a lot of work with kids, and I feel like every day I go, well, when I was working with kids, I've worked in different realms and stuff. I always felt, I mean, the word royal wasn't in my mind as I was going through it. But while working with these kids, like looking back, just seeing my role as like encouraging them, and then like seeing them kind of like grow into these people where when the first time I met them, they were like just a blank slate, or they just, they were looking for, knowledge or learning how to do certain things, and then like teaching them and showing them certain, traits or certain lessons, and them growing into and learning, and just seeing the light bulb turn on in them. That was another thing that helped me feel like, wow, okay, actually it had something to do with that. That helped me feel kind of royal in that. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the answer because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like trying to think about on time. Then there was this one time I was in the subway. So this has nothing to do with kids. there's so many different stories. But there was this one time where I was in a subway and this lady was getting verbally attacked by this guy. And it was, I mean, he was really going in on her, and like no one was saying anything. And I'm sitting around like, is anybody gonna say anything? And so he's like sitting, like, well, he's like standing over her and he's just like telling her off. And just, I don't even think I thought about it. Just like as loud as I could, I was like, you leave her alone. And like I yelled it out to him. And he was like, wait, what? And then all of a sudden this girl chimes in and she's like, yeah, you leave her alone. And then all of a sudden everybody just comes in on this guy. And he was like, you know, like, wait, like how come everybody's turning on me? And the girl eventually, you know, the next stop, she got off. And like, it was like, okay, like, I think royalty is, you know, like having a responsibility. It's kind of like integrity. You're doing the right thing regardless of expediency, regardless of if anyone sees it or not. You know, you still have that that mindset of it's my responsibility to, you know, look out for other people, or, you know, to serve others, to bring them up, to protect. So yeah, I guess that's one instance where I can look back and be like, okay, that's something that I can look back on and say that that's kind of connected to royalty. I don't know. I still have to renew my mind in certain areas, like we were saying earlier, certain things have been spoken over you, like growing up, you know, thinking about royalty and everything. Like for me, it wasn't a normal thing. It wasn't a normal phrase or word. And so like even now as an adult, I'm still having to, you know, understand, okay, that's, you know, that's who I am. And, you know, like having to have that conversation with myself of, okay, this is something that is, you know, good. And you know, I guess it's hard because, you know, as society and, you know, as myself, I don't want to be like, good job, you know, I want to like, but at the same, I feel like that's something that I, you know, internally am constantly, you know, having that conversation of like sorting things out. So, yeah.
I love that.
I don't know, but the answer, but yeah.
Not at all. You're flowing, and everything you're saying makes sense, and I can even relate. I feel that I always feel like a queen after I accomplished such a great dance class with my students. And even when it's challenging, it's still part of the journey. Queen Susana, so thank you for sharing, Wendy. Just reading some of the comments. Queen Susana Semota said, that is royalty. Yes, that is royalty. Osayame Bartholomew, thank you, Queens and King, for this powerful conversation. So I'm going to thank you, Osa. I want to jump to King Floyd. Can you share with us a time where you felt royal, powerful?
In my personal, I graduated high school and kind of went straight into entrepreneurship. And I think that level of control of your life, of your time, ownership, I should say, of your time, and the freedom to make decisions that benefit not only you, but give you the opportunity to impact others. I think it's become a daily thing for me, to be honest with you. I really enjoy waking up in the morning. Sometimes, you know, yesterday I slept in an extra hour or two, and I'm like, I don't have to ask anybody whether to do that or not. And I think that it made me feel good, you know, like the extra hour was nothing, but it was just more like, I don't have to get up. I can, or I don't have to. I can, you know, lay here on TikTok, okay, because that's what I do. And just, you know, but that ownership to me is what brings us that level of power that makes you feel like you're, you know, you have some level of control over your life, of your time. And I think that, you know, that's something that I take pride in, my ability to own my time and be free. And not only that, have an idea and be able to call someone and collaborate with them and take that idea and bring it to life, and so the things that are in my imagination, and creating those and building those things, and then one day can step back and say, look at that, like I just dreamt that up in my big head, and now it's real, like it, and other people can benefit from it too. Okay, so now we're talking about kingdom and queendom, and that's what makes me feel good. So every day I'm fortunate and I'm blessed enough to be able to have the economic ability, not and also the time to be able to create and work with man, some of the dopest creators ever, Eki included, right? And our designer as well.
Queen Phoebe, yes, yes.
100%. 100%. So to be able to dream these things up, and I think, I don't know if you would, of course you remember our conversation some time ago where, you have an idea and then I always send out this emoji, which is like the exploding head, right? And it's like, when I got this idea, this is the greatest idea, call me whenever you can, so I can tell you this, like,
We here.
and yeah, and then when we talk about it, and then you kind of like solidify it, because sometimes you have a good idea, you call somebody like, man, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life, man, go take that somewhere else, try come back again. But to have that idea kind of seconded, it makes me feel good, and that to me is like, okay, well, that empowers me to continue to keep going, and as a man, and I feel like when I'm pursuing my dreams and not feeling the weight of someone holding me back or oppressing me, then that's what makes me feel empowered and strong. And so, I want to encourage anybody that has dreams or has an idea of something of theirs, like that to me is what makes you feel good. It brings what you have inside out so the world can see it. That's what empowers you, and that's what empowers me. So every day, really, you wake up and you know what you have to do, and you do, and nothing's stopping you from doing it. Obviously we're all halfway quarantining / we don't know what's going on, so that lack of stability and control is cumbersome at times, but we still survive, right? Like, I just remember watching like things like Versus last week, and it was like those type of feel good moments are it makes me feel good. And one thing I do want to say is 2020 has been tough. I think we can all agree this is probably the toughest year that we may have all seen, but it's had its fair share of moments that let you know that, there's light at the end of the tunnel as long as we continue to persevere, right? And so as long as, whether we're knights or pawns or peasants or kings or queens, we need to be a star in our role, whatever that role may be. And if we do that, we'll find a way to work through. So like, everybody's not going to be a king. That's great. But I mean, there's so many roles to be filled that there's a place for all of us in our community to pitch in and do our part in bringing up others as well. So those are things that I think about, when I'm thinking about, like, okay, when I look at myself and I look in the mirror and say, you a king, it is because someone empowered me, right? And I took accountability for my decisions and responsibility for passing that forward, right? And so that's what makes me feel like I'm somebody, I'm king. I'm not average, because I can talk to someone and brighten their day just as much as I can tear them down. So when I make that decision to bring them up, and that's what makes all of us powerful. And so I hope that we all continue and take that energy and encourage others to do the same thing as well.
Yes. Yes. All of it. One takeaway, a lot of takeaways I got from what you said, but being a star in your own role. That we Miss Ravioli, thank you for being here. Hello, Queen. Tell us what makes you a queen. Brooklyn Honcho, thank you for being here. King, good evening, all. We appreciate you. We're having a king and queen dialogue. Yes. Oh, thank you, Dr. Vola. You are dope as well. That's my cousin. She was on our first panel on education. Whoo, man, that was still reflecting off of that. Please visit yourqueens.com for more information. That's our social media manager on. We have a village with us. We have a village with us. We appreciate you. Yourqueens.com for more information. We thank you. Wanted to share something that you said. I was saying Mr. Floyd, Pastor Floyd, King Floyd. Something that you shared was when you have an idea and then you see it manifest, you're like, wow. And that's just so powerful because we all come with so many thoughts and ideas and things, and sometimes we sit on it. And with your queens, when we started, it definitely was. I didn't decide. I'm all of a sudden, I have Eki's famous. Eki is jewelry and performing arts. Eki means joy. So I'm all about spreading peace, love, and joy around the world. And so I was doing that for many years and enjoyed it. I'm like, that's it. This is what I'm gonna do. 2014 comes around. I go to a birthday party one day, and a friend of mine invites me to her daughter's 4-year-old birthday party. And I've told the story a lot. I love telling it. I used to not tell it, and because now I'm being more confident in myself, and I'm okay if it's some people get it, some people don't, but this is the truth. This is the true story. Okay. Went to a birthday party. Honestly, I only went because I'm greedy. So there was some fried chicken there and food, and I was like, I'm gonna be there. We're going to this birthday party. I didn't have any kids yet, so I'm sitting there. We're having a good time. It's black and brown kids running around, and I'm like, okay, this party is cool. I'm sitting there, and it really felt like I was sitting on the throne because I'm looking at all the kids having fun, and I'm literally looking at the food like I'm just waiting until they tell me to come up so I could eat. And that moment, Spirit spoke to me. God spoke to me and said, I actually brought you here to start your own company. And I literally was like, oh boy. Because I knew it was going to come with, it's going to, a lot of people don't like change. And to each his own, I love change. I love evolving. So he's like, you ready for this next mission? And I'm like, all right. So right away, it was, I want you to start this company and you are going to educate children and adults about real kings or queens, like Makita, Queen of Sheba, Goddess Isis, Queen Nefertiti. You can purchase our sweaters on yourqueens.com. So all these queens, and that was October of 2014. By January, I told Mickey about it. Shannon knew about it. And by January 2015, we were launched. But it's so interesting, and it's the true story. It wasn't me saying, I'm a queen now, and therefore I'm about to teach y'all. No, the vision came to this shy young lady who had self-esteem issues, but had so much faith. I just had a moment. Had so much faith in herself and just trust God. And then last week, when we finished our last discussion, I think it was me and Shannon. Logic played the video of our anniversary last year, and we're watching this video. If you guys got to see it, definitely check our YouTube page of our 4th anniversary. And I'm no front, I was taken back. And we're there, okay, they're performing, but to see the costumes and the message and the princesses and the audience, I'm like, oh, this was that day I sat there in that birthday party, sitting on my throne in 2014. So just piggying back off of you. Thank you for helping me recall that memory and to share it with you all. And so follow your dreams. You guys have a vision. Don't sit on it. If you're nervous, hit me up. Yourqueens.com will help you, push you, and inspire you to follow your dreams. Because I truly believe we all have a gift and talent in this world that we have to come together and create this puzzle to make the world a better place. But with that being said, I'm going to jump to Queen Mickey. Share with us. I missed out. I left a question, but even Mr. Floyd answered it. Inspired. I left out a part of the question, so I'm going to read it over. Can you share a time when you truly felt royal, confident, powerful, and what advice do you have for our audience to see themselves as royalty?
That is such a loaded question, but I will try my best to answer. A time in which I felt very royal, very humble, confident, when I was teaching my 7th, 8th graders for the past 3 years. Children will humble you. They will also annoy you. But it also depends on how you receive their message. And I say this to say that I felt powerful and I still feel powerful being in the classroom, even though we are quarantined. COVID-19 has taken a lot of joys away. But when you are rooted in who you are and what you're becoming, it is easy to be royal in that sense, where You know what you want to accomplish and how you can get there. So, in short, I feel royal whenever I am in a classroom. That is truly my safe space. And the other question in regards to how can someone else be royal, just start to, honestly, I can say start to discover things that you like, you appreciate, and you love about yourself, because it will come from within, and then the light will shine outwards once you love yourself from within, whether it's a dimple, whether it's a stretch mark, etc. Once you start to accept who you are wholeheartedly and 100% without any form of doubt or any form of self hate, you will start to feel better. You will do better. You will be better. So it all starts from within.
That's beautiful, Mickey. Thank you. You did it. You did it. Yes. Last but not least, Queen Shannon. Okay, let me read some of the comments. Bobby White, thank you, King Logic, for providing the medium to allow our queens to bring forth their truth. Woo! Let's clap it up for that. Thank you, King Logic. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Bobby White, we appreciate you for coming on. So, Queen Shannon, can you share a time when you truly felt royal, confidence, powerful? And what advice do you have for our audience to see themselves as royal? It's a blessing to listen to the spirits. Ashe, Ashe.
So I'm gonna start with the second part first, and then go into the first part, so I don't lose it in my mind. So I would tell anyone who's looking for inspiration or encouragement to feel royal. I think it's really stemmed in bravery, and you really have to step out of your comfort zone when you are reaching that royal state. Mickey spoke a lot about this, about being your true self and coming from within. Floyd also touched upon this. I think everyone honestly touched upon it, but I think it's having that bravery to step out of boxes that people put you in, the bravery to just be who you are, be your authentic self. I know that's when I started to feel really free in life, when I accepted myself for who I am, all the quirks that make me me, that people when I was younger tried to make me feel like was weird and I needed to suppress them. And when I stepped out of it, now I'm like, this is me. I'm a goofball and I love it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm a chatty patty, if you have not noticed. If you've been here for all 3 episodes, you know. But so bravery, that is the first step I think that you need to kind of take. And bravery is not always these grandiose moments. I think every time someone thinks of being brave, not sometimes I don't want to make grand assumptions, but people often think that it is these grand moments. And sometimes it's these little things, like maybe someone says something weird to you and you're just like, hey, you know that, I don't know, I don't like how that came off, or that offended me or whatever. And for someone else, that may seem small for you to even bring up that someone's offending you. But for someone else, that may be a huge moment. Your heart might have been beating real fast and all these different things. So for me, the advice would be is to be brave and to be confident in whatever you have to say, whatever that you're going to release from your mouth to others, or your thoughts that you're releasing onto others. Just be confident in that. Those are those royal moments. And for my royal confident moment, I was trying to think of something that wasn't necessarily connected to your queen.
Every time I thought about that, I was like, ooh, when I was dressed up.
Every time, literally, we put on the garments and the embellishments and the everything. I'm like, oh my God, this is life. But I tried to think of a personal life experience, and what kept coming to my mind was when I have these, oh my God, how can I say this? When I have these generational cycle breaking conversations with my family. So as I've gotten older, I feel sometimes the urge to ask my grandma, my mom certain questions that are like maybe deep questions. And when you're younger, you're kind of afraid to ask your parents those questions. You're kind of like, oh, I don't want to ask about this because they might tell me stay out of grown folk business or whatever it is. So as I'm getting older and I'm trying to uncover myself, and you know, I'm in a relationship, so I'm thinking about the future and like what I would want my children and my family to look like. I realize that I have to understand how my family works and why certain thoughts I have in my head come from those generational cycles that we might have. So whenever I have those conversations with my mom, my grandma, anybody else in my family, I feel really royal. Like, oh my God, I'm taking a step to break something or change the direction of something that our family has done for years that may have just been seen as a tradition, but we may not recognize that it's a trauma that we're passing down from one generation to another. And for me to have those conversations to understand it, I can either continue with that line of thinking, or I can say, all right, I don't really think this is going to work for me and my offspring and my future family, so I'm going to change the trajectory of where we're going. But whenever I'm able to have those open moments, it makes me feel really empowered. Like, and to see them looking at me like, wow, you're really grown now. You're asking some grown questions.
A whole woman, a
A
whole
whole
woman.
woman now. But I love those moments, because it's not only, you know, helpful for me, because I'm realizing like, wow, I have this powerful voice outside of my family, but now I'm establishing my role as like a budding matriarch one day of my family, and I'm letting them know that I'm really concerned about how we're gonna grow as a people within our own unit. So that's another reason why I use bravery as a way to step out as that advice moment to be royal, because sometimes when I ask these questions or I bring up these conversations, I'm just like, okay, how are they going to receive this? Are they going to be offended? Are they thinking I'm saying that our family is not good? Because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I'm trying to grow and glow and go to the next level with the next generation. So that is my empowering royal moment.
No, you're doing the work. Is you're breaking generational curses, if you want to mean breaking. You're going into that next level, and you have to heal that in order to move on. And
Yeah.
it's all. And you're saying you're not. Every family has their thing, but it's not saying there's no right or wrong. We all
Right.
learn through it and
Yeah.
talk about these things, and not be afraid to talk about that, because it'll help. It'll propel you to the next generation. We have to. So creating that. That's so amazing, Shannon.
Thank
It's
you.
so good to see yourself as a queen during those times.
Yeah.
Wow. Brooklyn Honcho, how can I instill the positive thinking today in today's society without showing my age? How can I instill the positive thinking in today's society without showing my age? Can someone take that question? Go
Oh,
ahead, Mickey.
Okay. Oh, it disappeared. But I would definitely say, without showing your age, maybe just start with something simple as just your mannerisms. You would be surprised, and I'm not saying that you don't do this, but you would be surprised how easy life would be, easier life would be, if a please, a thank you goes a long way. Like, even today, I had an incident at the post office, and this lady was ready to go off on the lady in the back. And I'm just like, ma'am, if you just calm down and y'all both listen to each other instead of talking at each
Listen.
other, that would make the absolute difference. So I think, to answer your question, you can instill the positive thinking in today's society by generally being yourself and just still have manners, and knowing that don't take anything personal.
Nothing.
Sometimes it really is the other person, and it's easier said than done, especially when some people are rude or they just give you off a certain vibe. You have to remain true to yourself and go from there.
I
There
love
is
that.
such a thing as being prideful without being boastful. Yes, there is. Just because you have pride does not mean you have to show off on the other person.
Ooh, yeah.
yeah. I want to just add a little bit to that. That wisdom is timeless. Like, I mean, being nice is something that has always been a good thing.
Mhm.
I don't think there's certain things that, no matter what age you are in, it applies to any person and any culture. Being kind, things about, like, just, like you said before, saying please and thank you. I think there's certain principles of wisdom that it doesn't really, there's no age limit to it. That even at 30 or 40, you're still, it's still nice to say thank you. It's still nice to say please. It's still nice to, have manners. It's still nice to be kind to other people. So I think that that you can still have positive thinking, and you can still share that And, you know, by being, by doing it, it's kind of like you're passing that along. Your actions speak louder than words. So if you are someone that actually says please or thank you, or not even just please and thank you, because I think that's like the bare minimum, but like, you know, doing other things that are kind, considering others before yourself, you know, like thinking of other people, serving other people, that is something that you can do at any age. You know, there's no limit to it.
I love that, being kind. You know, a huge advocate for that. Bobby White says, Shannon, continue to break those generational curses. Let's keep that's a
Thank
norm. That's a
you.
norm. King,
We're
yes,
trying.
yeah. One moment at a time. King Floyd, would you like to share?
What was the question for this one?
Oh, just form what the comment if you wanted to speak on. I think it was Brooklyn Honcho. If not,
How to
yes,
be
how to
yeah,
instill.
I
Yes,
think she got it right. You know, I think that although this world has, you know, over 7 billion people, I think it all starts with personal responsibility. So if we can take personal responsibility of
yes.
the energy that we bring to the table, I think that that's really where it starts. And you know, waking up every day, telling yourself who you are, what you're about, and having a plan for the day. A lot of times that makes me feel confident. When I know what to expect and what I'm going to do, it makes me more excited to go out and do it. So I would say is just bringing a positive energy to the people that you come in contact with. It spreads. So you know, if someone I'll notice, you know, I'll go out somewhere and if somebody is excited to see me, even if they don't know me, it's like, okay, all right. And then next thing you know, I'm passing that off to the next 4 or 5 people. I guess it's probably the worst analogy, but it's probably like COVID-19. You know, you pick it up in one place and you can take the next 3 or 4 days and just pass it around. Hey, you want COVID? You get a COVID. You get a coronavirus. You get it. You know, but I think that positive energy is the same way. You know, we spread it amongst each other. It's contagious. So wake up in the morning and tell yourself how great you are and the wonderful things you can do. And next thing you know, you can infect everybody with it, or affect the others that you come in contact with it. And then guess what? We're all in quarantine together because of our infections.
I love how you spun that. Wow. The Rances Unit said, not the Rona. We're going to spread quarantine together on the positive vibration.
Except that energy will bring us together instead of separating us, and how to heal that will bring us together. So it does have an inverse effect than the virus that's going around, but I think it's just as powerful as the
Energy.
virus. 100%.
Brooklyn Honcho says, if we could bring that. Side note, I realized by looking at you queens and kings that black don't crizac. Hello, we drink our water. We mind our business. We talk about
Yes.
royalty and love and life.
Mhm.
We treat each other well. It's so interesting because earlier I'm looking at the panel because we can see each other, and I'm like, everybody just glowing tonight, like smiling and joyful. I really appreciate y'all. I have one last question, and it's actually so so showing love is the anti-Rona. Oh, so showing love is the anti-Rona. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Logic. It's just a final one word affirmation. But before we get into that, again, King Floyd, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on this panel today. Thank you so much. This was perfect. I needed this. Yes, yes. Wakanda forever. Black power forever. Our greatness, king and queendom forever. I felt that. I felt that. So thank you, Shannon Nia Alamo, for being here. I appreciate you, Queen Wendy. Happy anniversary again for 1 year with your queens, McQuavon Mills. Been around my life for like 20 years and counting. I appreciate you for being here. Final, and again, for our audience, for those that return, we thank you for being here. We hope that this carries you on. I would say for the rest of your life, may peace and love, joy, happiness continue to fall in your life every single day. One final takeaway I want to ask all of us is we usually close out with an affirmation. So if everybody could just give one word of how you felt this conversation. You guys could share it as well in the, I was gonna say in the audience, like we're at a show. You can share one word takeaway from this moment or just from today. And I'll start with my word is manifest. I feel like we manifest this conversation. I don't know who said it earlier, but even thinking COVID, I've been able to pivot in so many ways. I've seen my strength and confidence just come up during these times. And we manifested that. This was an idea from one of our queens for us to go live last year. And it was a thought. And all of a sudden, we're here in COVID and we're here on live talking to you, beautiful people. I did not see this coming a year ago, but thank God for being obedient. So, my word is manifest. Go ahead, Mix.
I would say my word is magnificent, even throughout everything that is going on, and even in my household as well. It's magnificent just for us to be together, even though we are apart, and just seeing the conversation flow. Like when I tell you, we don't even have really a script and we're just vibing off of everyone else, you can tell it's genuine and real.
Shout out to Mickey because she had texted me, can we keep this going after after December? And I'm like, oh yeah, that
I sure
almost
do.
felt like we gonna let it flow because
Yeah.
somebody else told me the same thing. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, so this is gonna be ongoing.
Yes,
Again,
Shalika was over here earlier, and she was like, "Wait, when am I gonna get interviewed?" I was like, "I don't know yet, love." And then
yeah,
she's like, "Okay," and
you
then
already
she was
know.
with
You
me for
already
half
know
of
my
it.
queen is going. She's
You see
ready.
a unicorn in the back.
I love it. Who else want to share their one word?
I would say this was all beneficial. Like I learned things.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Shannon said something. I'm still trying to remember what she said. It was before she was talking about her family. But yeah, I'll remember it later on. I'm not going to sit here and try to think like 5 minutes later. No, it was before that. No, but it was very beneficial to just see like different mind views
Yes,
and I don't know why I can't speak today,
you're
but
doing
like
great.
just
You're
different
doing great.
topics, different viewpoints on royalty, and I loved hearing it. And my thank you guys so much for shouting out my cousin. Like, man, it makes me feel really proud. And so, thank you guys. Yeah, beneficial. I really enjoyed the
Beneficial.
conversation.
Thank you. Floyd, what you got? What's your one word? And oh, then Queen Shannon as well.
I would say empowering. You know, to have conversations with people that kind of reminds you that you're not in this alone, right? And that, sometimes, as was mentioned earlier, the more time that we spend with ourselves, sometimes the worst place we can be is alone with our own thoughts. So when you can have commune with others and speak and exchange ideas, it kind of lets you know you're on the right pathway, and it empowers me, encourages me, and fuels me to continue to keep going and to keep striving. And no matter what
Wow.
the thoughts that I have, or things that I trials and tribulations that I go through, that there's other people out here, and as long as we do not allow those who oppress us to control the narrative of how we think about ourselves, then we are kings and queens. I just think it's natural, to be honest with you. I think it's natural to think the way. It's just we're constantly being told that we are less than. And so after a while, you hear it. It's like good marketing. You believe it, regardless if it's true or not. So I just think that we have to continue to empower ourselves and remind ourselves who we are. And as long as we're secure in that, and we encourage each other, and we surround ourselves, as you mentioned at the top of the conversation, to tell it so that we know who we are, and continue to remind ourselves of that, then I think we will continue to be empowered.
Thank you. Thank you. Queen Shannon.
I love it. I love it all. I'm sitting here all like, oh my gosh. It's like real life right now. We're really having these conversations openly and live, and other people can see and hear us. But The other day I was telling Miss Eki, these conversations that we're having is really how our meetings flow. When we have meetings for your queens, we literally come in with an agenda of things that we need to get done, but it often just ends up being these real talk conversations of us just kind of expressing ourselves and growing. And I'm just so glad that we're able to bring it to this platform and bring amazing guests on like Floyd, who can also add their thoughts and perspective to the conversation. Woo! All right. But my word that I took away from this is spark. Like all these different, we were able to bring our different thoughts and viewpoints, and we were talking about being creatives and creativity and ideas that sparked from these little seeds and blew up to these grandiose ideas. And clearly grandiose is my word of the day, but we had those spark moments. Like everyone said something that really resonated with me in some regard, or things that I'm probably going to take time to think about later and reflect and meditate on. So spark is the word that came to mind from this conversation.
I love that, spark. So we got enlightened.
Enlightenment.
Hey, thank you, Bobby White. Adaptable. Thank you, Miss Ravioli. Yes. Strength. One of my favorite words. Strength. Awesome. This was another, I feel so relaxed. I feel so at peace. This was another amazing conversation of Behind the Mic Talk series. Before we close out, this series we've been doing Behind the Crown on our social media, so definitely follow us on Your Queens Inc. on Instagram and Twitter. And we've also been doing a series called Behind the Tiara, because we do mentor young prince and princesses. You can catch all the replay on our Instagram. It's just powerful one-on-one conversation where you get to meet the people behind your queens. I want to ask Queen Mickey if she can close us out, and then we will see you all again on Wednesday. And the topic is protect the Black man, protect the Black woman. It's gonna be hot. I already got some people hitting me up like, ooh, well, we're gonna keep it. Again, it's about healing, it's about joy, and it's about bringing us together so we can work together, grow together, heal together, love together. Go ahead, Vicky.
And y'all gonna see my boo.
Oh,
You better.
oh,
Black love.
Management is definitely going to be calling Miss Alomar after this. Um, okay, so to end off our amazing time, I definitely want to thank everybody for being here. And you can repeat after me. I am strong.
I am strong.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am great.
I am great.
I am wise.
I am wise.
And I am worth it.
I am worth it.
Yeah. Thank you. And in closing, my favorite quote, and you guys can look it up. I am learning all the time. The tombstone will be my diploma by Eartha Kitt. And I do hope you guys enjoyed our session, and see you guys again shortly. Thank you.
I just made it out of here, man.
Hello, kings and queens. Welcome to the beautiful world of Your Queens Incorporated, the first African royalty character and costume entertainment company. You have the opportunity to meet dynamic queens and kings like Goddess Isis, Queen Cleopatra, Makeda, Queen of Sheba, Queen Nefertiti, King Tutankhamun, Queen Amina, Queen Nzinga, and Queen Nanaya Asantewa. Through the power of storytelling, song, dance, royal adornments, and more, we achieve our mission of evaluating, educating, and expressing the dynamic lineage of historic queens and kings. Let us teach you, and remind you about the incredible stories of our ancestors who reigned with power, confidence, diligence, faith, and purpose to create the legacies we know and love today. Be sure to visit our website, www.yourqueens.com, to learn more about the services we offer and connect with us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
That's a queen.
I said the difference between you and I is I'll probably be in my
Took the hop for problems before I get involved and try to solve problems. I got time on my hands. Talking you off the ledge was never part of my plan. Now, probably place to fuck. Consider this. Romantic to left me. Those are not to those are you. Cause I wanna smoke side and always get the same ring. No strength, not drink. Like drink with all this boat. I said the difference between you and I is I'll probably be mine. Took the house for problems before I get involved and try to solve problems. I got time on my hands. Talking you up to the left was never about me to play. Place to fuck. Don't get me wrong, I'm not looking for nobody. The sag is savage. I'm just been out to bang out and don't package. They grief, the presence, they deep and deep when they wisdom. Focus on fixing your mantra. What's inside, just go back, come back into hot shot. May come back, motivate, anti-shot, river, and city concept. That's why I spit from the lyrical literature. Even my lips is a piece. I make sure that if you listen, you learn it too. Cause if you listen, then you learn this degree. Using my disguise, every penny that's got to leave. Whether lump sum or residual from royalty, to all members of my family. The difference between you and I is how big the BMI. I said the difference between you and I is how big the BMI. My hindsight is precision, my foresight. It's 1080, it's HD, it's that LED illuminated. My hindsight is precision, my foresight. It's 1080, it's HD, it's that LED illuminated. The difference between you and I. The difference between you and I is how big the BMI.